Absolutely. As you say, Charlie was able to engage in debate on all topics and speak fearlessly, fiercely, and that is what we need in a democratic country. I mean, you should not, should go without saying, have to lose your life for speaking the truth. And he was so passionate about such important issues that often would get missed or overlooked by the mainstream media that you and I have spoken about previously, CJ. But most recently, he was constantly speaking out about the brutal murder of Iryena Zarutska, this Ukrainian refugee, 23 years old, that was slaughtered on a train in Charlotte, North Carolina. And if it wasn't for voices like Charlie and others, like Elon Musk was also calling out this horrific murder as well, this would have been missed by the mainstream media because they were ignoring this attack. And I was just on Charlie's Instagram obviously this morning, and it was only, I think, 12 hours ago that he was posting about Iryena Zarutska. Let's just take a look at this.
Okay, everybody, you've probably heard the situation that happened in North Carolina. Say the name Iryena Zarutska. Iryena Zarutska was just riding public transit. By the way, she was a refugee from Ukraine, of all places, and she came to Charlotte, North Carolina. And a terrible person, well, you saw what happened. I can't describe it here on TikTok without some sort of community guideline being violated. But if you haven't seen the video, you absolutely should. This individual should not have been on the streets, 14 prior arrests. And it really makes you wonder, why are we putting up with this? Why are we allowing so many people that have committed these crimes to keep on being released? The magistrate judge continued to release this individual, and this is a horrific thing. It's really interesting. The media was totally covering George Floyd, tens of thousands of articles, reconfigured and changed the entire American body politic. Yet when it came to Iryena Zarutska, the entire media was quiet, silent. In fact, we forced them to cover the story. Why do you think that is?
I think it says so much that this is what Charlie was doing just in the moments up until his death. He was speaking out. He was speaking out for Iryena Zarutska. And if it wasn't for people like Charlie, this story would have been completely missed by the media.
It was all gas, no brakes for Charlie all the time. This was a man who was so dedicated to his country in a way in which I find almost incomparable. I tweeted earlier today, I don't think there's anyone I know who loved his country, loved his family, and loved his God more than Charlie Kirk. And, of course, God bless him for shining a light on what happened to Iryena in Charlotte, North Carolina. She was failed by progressive policies there, and hopefully she gets the justice that she deserves. But hopefully Charlie also does as well. It's unfortunate that this assassin is still on the loose. We have not yet detained him. Hopefully, that will change soon. But it's tragic. It's very, very tragic.
It's so tragic. CJ, before I let you go, I just want to get your kind of final thoughts, really, on the impact, of course, that this has had on so many Americans, but particularly Gen Z voters. And I suppose there's going to be so much time where we have to mourn and heal the loss of Charlie Kirk. I mean, I still can't believe that it's real. But as you spoke about the legacy he leaves behind, I mean, what an incredible one that he was able to touch so many lives, make such a huge impact. And I suppose, what do you see going forward? I know we'll continue to honour Charlie Kirk, but really, can you speak to the movement that he's created and how that will live on?
To quote President Trump, we've got to continue to fight, fight, fight. I think that is the legacy that Charlie is leaving, and I think that's what he would want us to continue to do. This cowardly attack was meant to deter us. It was meant to instill fear into us that would make us become silent. We can't afford to be silent. We are on the precipice of some of the most important fights that our country, that Western civilization has ever seen in our entire lives. And it's up to Gen Z to channel his passion, to channel his energy, and to fight for the country that Charlie Kirk ultimately gave his life for. And so I think that is our command. That is our charge. That is what we must do. And I'm all in on that. And I think many of my peers are as well, because we have no choice but to be. We will not let these people win. We will not let these evil, satanic, just absolutely just terrible people win the day. We will win the day.
So well said. CJ Pearson, RNC Youth Advisory Council co-chair, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.